I don't know that I would have dropped a 5-day isolation. Of course, it's not my responsibility or my decision, but I do think that it'll lead to more people getting sick. I think it'll lead to more strain on the healthcare system, which is something that needs to be preserved. I think what it's trying to get in a direction of is um, normalizing how we respond to COVID as per how we respond to other respiratory infections. And while I completely recognize that we don't have mandated times for isolation for the vast majority of other respiratory viruses and for other infections in general, it does kind of glaze over the fact that that COVID itself is far more contagious than the vast majority of respiratory viruses that we have. He's right to say that we have an exceptionally high rate of vaccine uptake in Ontario and in Canada, really. So people are generally safe from it. It is very important to know where you are in terms of infectivity and that sort of thing. So within a 10-day period of when you've had COVID, you are still infectious. You can still infect other people around you, and you really, really do need to be wearing a mask and avoiding people. You need to be responsible. But what it's doing away with is mandates. Because I do think that it's been very difficult to mandate an appropriate time period for people to be off work and really allow for their salaries to be covered, etc. I do think that it's pertinent. I think that people who are sick and can't go into work should have their salaries covered, and it will keep a lot of people safe to do that. But I recognize that it's untenable for a lot of individuals. When you're feeling unwell, you shouldn't be going into work. And when your employee is feeling unwell, you should not be trying to force them to come into work. That's really unsafe, and it's really reprehensible. You're exposing the people around your workplace to somebody who's unwell, and you're exposing them to an unsafe workplace, which I don't think is reasonable. I do think that it's important to wear masks, despite the fact that they're not mandated, for your children, particularly if they have an immune system which isn't 100%. I think it's important for kids to be wearing a mask if they're feeling vaguely unwell, even if it's not COVID. And if it is COVID, if people have respiratory illnesses, keep your kids home from school. And I recognize what a nuisance that can be sometimes because it is difficult with workplaces. But I think we all need to be a little bit more flexible. We need to show each other a little bit more grace in allowing people to take care of their families. And that will also keep everybody, kids included, I think, a lot safer.